What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at Maru's TvT. The last episode was about Maru's TvG, and now we're going to look at how he pretty much destroys Clem, to be honest, in this Terran versus Terran. I think Maru still very much sticks to his perfect formula type of TvT, where he just has the perfect macro setup, the perfect late game setup, and usually wins this game somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes. But I did notice he started using some different openers. And also I wanted to touch a bit more on detail on when he scouts with Marines and stuff like that. I feel like that could be very important for both me and you guys. Because yeah, I feel like TvT, sometimes you don't scout for like 5 seconds and just die to something. So Maru definitely must have his stuff very well lined up. Now this game, I think he actually went for a double Cyclone opener, which is an opener I encounter a lot on the ladder, but I haven't seen Maru do it. And whenever I feel like Maru does a build, it just seems perfect, you know, like he really has all the details down and stuff, so I always like to copy my builds from him the most, because they always just feel very streamlined. So he's going to go for the 17 SCV scout, obviously a normal double gas opener. One thing that's very interesting is that he builds his barracks here. Normally the barracks is always in the wall, right, but Maru is doing things a little bit differently these days. I feel like this is actually a bit map specific. I feel like on Berlingrad I haven't seen him wall here too much. Maybe because the map is short and you can get tank pushed too easily. Could make sense. Anyway, probably something I should try out, see how it feels. Also gonna make his depot here instead, giving some vision of the Reaper ledge. SCV Scout is probably just gonna go up and see a wall and go right back down. I don't think SCV Scout is gonna do anything legendary. Or... actually, guys, actually. Oh my god, that Korean RNG. That Maru RNG. You guys see that? What is that RNG, dude? Oh my god, I want to buy some of that. Damn. Alright, back at Maru's base. Oh, look at this. This is already a little bit of a change up. These days, normally with double gas builds, you cut one SCV out of each gas. Maru actually cuts one SCV more. So he cuts one SCV out of the top gas and 2 out of the bottom one. Then his Reaper movement, I've noticed this is his scouting pattern usually. He always sends his first Reaper just to look for like a proxy starport or something like that around, and then goes right back. Obviously in TvT you can't take too much time to scout around, purely because your opponent could be sending the Reaper straight across, and you don't want to get caught like right out here in the middle of nowhere with your Reaper. Because losing your first Reaper in TvT is often pretty disastrous. Then this is the build I was talking about. He's going to go straight for a tech lab, no Hellion, followed by a reactor on the barracks. And yeah, this build is something I really wanted to perfect for a while, because it always feels very strong when I play against it. And I've tried it myself, but I never really got it down too much. Basically what the point of this is, you get really fast Cyclones, and at the same time you counterattack with your Reapers, right? So if your opponent attacks you with the casual 2 Reapers 1 Hellion, you're going to have 2 Reapers in his base, and you're going to have a Cyclone to defend. Now usually what you do with these Reapers is that you actually sacrifice them. And this looks a little bit silly, but you get scouting here, and usually you get 2 or 3 SCVs. As you can see here, you got 3. And in TvT, if you just look at the worker count already, TvT builds are often very slow, right? So here you can see, Maru is already 3 SCVs up in a normal game, and he's completely safe at home, and he got the scouting. So even though 2 Reapers for 3 SCVs is not a good trade when you look at the resources, in this case it actually totally checks out. And Maru is now at a slight advantage already. And this is obviously where the Cyclone comes into play, because if you just have 1 Hellion to defend, then obviously you're probably going to take some damage back. But with the fast Cyclone, always good in the world. And always getting this 3rd gas. This is a standard in TvT, by the way. You do this with pretty much any build. You get this 3rd gas even before your CC is finished, because you just need to be able to afford Raven and tank and stuff at the same time, and it just costs a lot of gas. So you need that 3rd gas. Else, yeah, you're probably going to die to your opponent pushing you with Ravens and tanks instead. So here he's going to go for 2 Cyclones. He's going to make the tank. I'm curious if he cancels this tank to make a Raven, actually. That wouldn't surprise me if he does that. Because he doesn't quite have enough gas for the Raven. Let's see what he does. Okay, so he's actually going to stay with the tank. I mean, it makes sense as well. Just a little bit more safe against attacks. Now look, this is the kind of stuff I was talking about. Maru's Reapers are dead. He actually sends out a Marine at 4 minutes just to see what is coming. And in this case, you can already see why he does it. This is a mine drop, but it's also very common that you could find a tank drop here. And now he knows that he can move his Cyclones out. He knows there's no Liberator or Banshee in his base, because he spotted a medevac. And just that 1 Marine alone made this easier for him. I feel like a lot of people tend to think that sometimes these guys just have like inhuman game sense, which honestly they do. but you also need the actual confirmation of what is going on. And just that one Marine that he sent out into the middle of the map at 4 minutes into the most obvious path gave him the scouting he needed, completely deflecting Clem's attack in the process, just by sacrificing 50 minerals pretty much. And his 30C is going to be down, 4th gas following up. Obviously at this point all you're going to have to do is make 2 Ravens and siege tanks. I guess it's possible that you go for 3 Ravens as well. But I feel like Maru usually is the kind of guy to go for 2. I think 3 Ravens is usually a bit more aggressive. If you want 3 Ravens, you want to do like a big tank push. And, you know, just spam those auto turrets down and get some matrixes and stuff. As you can see, this is how Maru splits his units as well. Cyclones are always in the main, unless they really have to be at the front. He's not like panic F2ing because he's being tank pushed. He just sieges 2 tanks here. Keeps the Cyclones into the main. The position of these units is very important. Obviously, right now, with the tank push that Clem did, he does have the map control. So, Maru simply didn't know what was coming, so he positioned his units in the smartest way. Then he's going to follow up with 2 barracks and 2 E-base. He's moving out with his Cyclones because his Marine just triggered the mine. As you can see, he's checking the bushes for the Cyclone. One thing that's really scary for Cyclones, by the way, is that a mine actually one-shots them. So if you have anything to trigger them, before your Cyclones go out on the map, that's honestly just a fantastic move. You see, Maru's gameplay is all about those single Marines. A little bit overstep here by Maru. Gonna make his first mistake of the game. Once again, I love it when they make mistakes. It's just beautiful. Means I'm allowed to make them as well, right? Actually, he almost got away with that. They traded Cyclones, but he almost escaped. That was pretty sick. Alright. Makes 1-1 before his stim pack, actually. That's an interesting move. I guess since Maru is very passive, that does only check out, right? Like, if you're mostly sitting back, do you really need your stim that fast? Probably not. And you see, he's consistently sending out this 1 Marine. And now, because he's taking his 3rd base, this is very important, by the way. This is just because he's taking his 3rd base. Suddenly, he has more entrances to his bases, right? Like, this is vulnerable, so he's gonna send out another Marine to check here. When he was just sitting in his natural, things only could come from here, basically, and maybe a tank drop here. Right now, there's 3 entrances to his base, so because he's sieged forward at this position, he always needs a Marine on the other side. So if this Marine sees an army, he can unsiege and get back here in time, right? Like, this Marine here is completely crucial. The 2 Reapers going to the main, a little bit annoying, but no big deal. Also notice how fast Maru always gets the sensor tower for Clem. No sensor tower in sight, but Maru's one is already finished, and you can see this attack honestly already rendered pretty much useless by the scouting. And I feel like this game is actually a really good show of how important those, like the Marines and the sensor towers and everything is. Because Maru didn't have to do any crazy moves to defend stuff at all. All he had to do so far was send out single Marines and make a sensor tower. And, you know, keep his Cyclones in the right position in the main, even though nothing happened there. Still an important move. And yeah, so far Maru is having a pretty relaxed game because of that. Now you can see, he knows where the army is, so he also temporarily doesn't have a Marine over there. I'm sure once he doesn't see the army for long enough, he'll probably scout again a little bit at the top. You can see he's sending out Marines now through the middle already. Also, these turrets are very important, guys. Never skip on these turrets against Terran. You never want to lose to like one random medevac flying in. At least you want there to be some hindrance for them so they don't just get a free pass, pretty much. Actually gonna go for the 4th and 5th barracks before the 4th CC. It is very Maru-esque to get the 4th base before those extra barracks, but I think maybe because it's a smaller map and he wants to be safe, he gets them before. Adapting like that is definitely very important. Maru moving out at the top here, getting a good scout off on that army. If the army wasn't there, he would actually continue to move through and go here, try to harass a base. But in this case, he found the army, so he had to back off. But keep in mind, some of these moves are definitely up to adaptation. Like I said, if there actually was not an army there, he would obviously use those medevacs. You can see that, I'm happy the turret got into action. I feel like most of the time you make these, they don't really get to do much. But now it actually perfectly deterred a medevac. That in some cases could actually end the game, to be honest. Like, I know it seems small, but if I think I can speak for all of you guys. If the medevac gets in, sometimes you panic, you F2, and then the tank push hits at the front and you die, right? And this turret alone may have prevented something like that for you guys. So that's pretty huge. It's funny to see how late Maru's combat shield is because he decided to get those upgrades first. But like I said, he's defending, so it's not a huge deal. Clem also getting a similar sensor tower at the front now. I used to actually make the sensor tower a bit different. I used to make it like here, so you could see the drops. But I noticed more and more that it's just really important for them to see the front, to see the attacks coming. Oh, that's actually a really big move for Maru. Don't think he will be able to save that. Let's see. Yeah, he's actually gonna die for it. That's a good move. Kills the Raven as well. Oh my god. Almost got the second one. That's a really good target fire by Maru. One thing I noticed in Maru's TvTs is that he definitely makes less Marines than the rest. Like in the late game, sometimes he will even have as little as 15 or 18 Marines or so, while the opponent are usually on like 40. So sacrificing Marines for value is definitely something that Maru likes to do. Now, obviously, the second factory timing is normal. When Combat Shield finishes, you're going to use the Tech Lab for the factory. Get your Tank Viking set up. And yeah, at this point, Maru is pretty well set up, man. If once Maru's fourth base is down, I feel like you're already in a lot of trouble against Maru just because his late game is so good. Clem has been playing economically very well, by the way. It's sad for him that he lost the fourth base, but this would have been his fifth. He expanded very fast, up 20 supply. Like, Clem has been playing this economically very well, but Maru just always has this perfect setup on 4 bases, and yeah, once you get to the late game, it's pretty much unstoppable. Starports are going down as soon as the fourth base lands, pretty much. That's a really good timing to remember. When you get the fourth base down, drop those starports. Get those 7th and 8th gases. Seems to be the right move to make. And as you can see, he's also adding more and more turrets as we go on. Now he has the little 16 Marine squad in the top. This is also a very important detail I want to touch on, by the way. These turrets, they actually help a ton. It's very easy to just dive on top of siege tank like this with a few ravens if there's no turrets, but turrets always make it very expensive and usually even scare them away. As you can see, once again, Maru definitely thinks it's worth it to sacrifice 60 Marines for a base. Yeah, and that's just because of what I said. He doesn't usually make that many Marines in the late game. He, what do you say? He attaches more value to tanks, ravens, and Vikings. Yeah, as you can see, it's paying off. Like, his income is way... Oh my, that's way more than I thought, actually. Income is actually way ahead. It's basically double at this point. Just because he sniped those 2 bases for his Marines. And still, he looks a little bit unbreakable. At this point, I wouldn't even mind if he made, like, a few more turrets here to be even safer. Like, he has a few turrets here, but I feel like you may as well make them at any point, right? And this is when it really starts, the Maru madness. Command center, command center, command center, command center. Where's another one? Command center. 5 more command centers going down. Really going up to like 9 or 10. Very important for Terran in any matchup, by the way. Terran late game is all about having orbitals. It's the best thing about Terran late game. You can have so many orbitals. You can go down in SCVs. You can have permanent vision. And yeah, there's honestly just no reason not to. If you play late game Terran without mass DCs, you're doing it wrong. Now, this is something I saw before as well when I analyzed Maru's TvT. He really does not care much about his 3-3 bio upgrades. Before he goes in there, I just want to show you. Like, he gets his Ravens, his Corvid reactors, +2 attack, but not his 3-3 attack on the bio. And yeah, once again, it really shows that Marines are just not the most important for him, but it's just about those mech units, about the control, about the situation on the map. I feel like up to 2-2, it's always very important because Marine upgrades make an insane difference. Like 2-2 against 1-1, 3-3 against 2-2 is crazy. But I guess he just doesn't really take Marine fights anymore at some point. Now, a big skill of really good Terrans in TvT is just when to know when to take a fight. Because here, this fight was amazing. He mops up 7 tanks, barely lost anything. And at the same time, Clem is pushing. And if you look at his trade, it seems kind of fine, right? Like, Clem is absolutely destroying this base. Maru destroyed the army in the top. But if you look at the supply, the game feels pretty much over. And honestly, that's something I might not be able to teach you guys because that really just feels like a little game sense. But Maru knew exactly when to take that fight. And he took a really commanding lead because of it. So Clem's move at the bottom here was good. He probably should have retreated with the army in the top earlier or supported it. Because now he's just in a world of trouble. As you can see, 13 tanks against 6. 12 Vikings and 4 Ravens against just 8 Vikings. And at this point, I don't know if there's much Clem can do to stop the terrifying army of Maru. I feel like there's a few players that are just like too good with a big army. I think actually Air Marine is someone who's super good with this army, like sieging forward slowly. And Maru is the best one. If Maru gets an army advantage against you, an air control advantage, you are probably not gonna escape that. He's gonna push it slowly. He's gonna know exactly when to siege. In this case, his army is so big, I think he might even just run in, yeah. throw an anti-armor missile down. Actually prefers just to use the matrixes on the tanks, which is always a good move if you have enough energy. Yeah, honestly in TvT, this amount of tanks is not going to be stopped by 2 tanks. Or well, literally 0 tanks now because of the Raven energy. This is very clean and perfect usage of Raven energy, by the way. Dropping turrets when the tanks are low HP, matrixing the high HP ones. Yeah, just very clean, perfect. Usually you just use matrixes because, let me just tell you guys this. Auto turrets are a little bit overrated against tanks. Like, auto turrets really suck against tanks. If you have 7 tanks shooting at auto turrets, you can drop 20 and they'll still all die. So definitely don't use your energy on those too much unless it's a really good move. Yeah, Clem is not going to have any option here besides just a move in, but Maru doesn't even really need to siege for this fight, as you can see. He sieged 6 of his tanks, but that's about it. And yeah, Maru, man, every single time he plays at TvT, he just wins it in such a clean, commanding way. The perfect scouting early game is very important. I hope that's something you guys are going to copy, and I will as well. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this TvT masterclass. Make sure to leave a sub and like, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.